Good evening, Nikki and crew. It is now almost 10 o'clock on the evening of the 4th of October, and I got home from the open mic that I attended, which I am uploading the video that I took on the way there right now, and found that Nikki you had uploaded a video, which I was very happy to see. As I said, it feels lame to say this over and over again, but yeah, I really enjoy, makes my day when you guys upload videos. So I'm sorry to hear that you're all bummed out, Nikki, and feeling unmotivated. Gotta say, I'm a little bit of the same, although I've been finding a lot of joy in doing the music recently, and I'm trying to do more of that because it makes me happy. So I'm going to respond mostly to what you said, but first, before I do that, I want to talk about this open mic that I went to. It was interesting because it was at a bar, not your typical bar. It was sort of a restaurant slash bar in Walla Walla, where I was able to order a hummus plate while I waited to play and an iced tea. But it was weird because, and I suspect that if I play more and more venues, this will be more what you kind of get. But they were really unorganized. There was no introduction, and they were setting up. And I asked the guy setting up, what was going on. He goes, I don't know. I'm setting up somebody else's equipment for them. The guy who's supposed to organize it isn't here. And then they needed to do a sound check, and so he said, why don't you come up and try out? And so I did the sound check, and I didn't see any other musicians around. And so they did the sound check, and they said, go ahead and play. And then they left. They literally went outside, and there were maybe a half dozen people sitting in the building. And I started playing, and nobody even really acknowledged that I was playing. And I played for probably 45 minutes. And then finally one of the guys who set up came in and said, one more song. And I was like, okay. And so I did the one more song. And then it turned out there were a couple Whitman students there. But they weren't allowed to sit in the bar part, so that they had been over behind a wall someplace in the restaurant part because they were not 21 years old yet. And so the bouncer, actually, it was really funny because there were two who wanted to play and sing, and with a group of about 8 students, and the bouncer wouldn't let any of the other students in to see them play or sing, so they had to sit over on the other side. Anyway, it was kind of an odd thing, and so then when that was done, I was getting up to leave because there was nobody else there, and as I was leaving, one of the guys who had been sitting in the bar went outside and got a guitar and came in, and then he played. And he had a couple other friends there who had been kind of went out, and they'd all gone outside when I was playing. So it was like, it was this sort of weird vibe where, you kind of feel like nobody really wants you there. But I have a feeling that that's probably more common than not, unless and the other people who were there had brought people with them to watch them play, and they only got any feedback from the people who watched them play, other than me. Actually, I applauded both the other groups, and it was interesting because when I started clapping for the Whitman kids when they played, other people started clapping as well. But yeah, so that was my experience with that, and I'm trying to decide what I learned from that experience. Now, Nikki, you talked about. I'm sorry I didn't contact you when I went to Salem, and but it was I thought it was going to be a flying in and out thing, and we ended up spending more time in Portland than I had intended to spend. But yeah, I thought about contacting you, but I just figured that if I did, I would try to do too much in that day, and I really wanted to get home by a reasonable hour. So as it was, I got home by 7 o'clock, and so I will come see you the next time I'm on the west side. I will contact you. The gloom and doom, my friend Scott from across the street. Actually, the thing about Scott, and Carew will attest to this, actually, Scott in many ways reminds me of Carew in that he's a complete extrovert. He's upbeat all the time. You know, you see him and he's always like, "Hey, what are you doing? How's life? Oh, it's so great that you're doing that stuff. Hey, you want to go for a walk with me, or you want to go hiking with me?" You know, and I mean, you know, Karu's always doing something. And Karu, yes, I'm talking about you in the third person. Um, and Scott's like that as well. But at the same time, he's reads a lot of this, you know, economic system. How does it work? The news, and I'm with you as well, Nikki. You know, and so I was talking to him today. Actually, I stopped by at lunch to confirm that he was coming for dinner tomorrow, because he's such a nice guy, and we started talking again, and we're just like, oh, what's going to happen with our economic system? You know, the principles that our economic system are built on don't really make sense when you stop and think about them, and blah 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 blah. And so anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's what we did. And he will be here to actually tomorrow should be really fun because, as I said before, we're gonna have Brennan Carew and Eleanor and one of my coworkers' sons, William, is coming over as well, and it's going to be a lot of college age, you know, 20 to or 19 to 23-year-olds, and yeah, good stuff. So Carew's injury, yeah, Carew, I want to hear what happened with your chest because, you know, big long video about how your life almost came to an end water skiing, and then like no sign of it in your activity, in changing your activity. Personally, I think you were whining. I don't think it was that bad. Late summers, we've had really nice weather here. Actually, today, yesterday was the first cool day we had here. It was in the 60s. It was down right about freezing the last couple nights. And I'm gotta say I'm enjoying that cold weather. And I agree with the Northwest summers being late. I remember, well, you know, Sarah and I got married outside at my parents' house on September 15th. So we basically assumed the weather was going to be good because it was really, we're used to having warm, nice weather through September. And actually, even, you know, we do soccer season through the end of October, and my recollection, and I've had people tell me I'm wrong, is that it doesn't get really cold here till kind of the very end of October. And but I agree. Well, and Nikki, you talked about the schools. We didn't start school in Pendleton this year till third week in September. So, but that was because of the rodeo and the furlough days. So yeah, push those back. Dusty, yes, it has been incredibly dusty. The air quality here has been horrible. Actually, when I was driving up to Walla Walla, I was noticing how dusty it was. We definitely need some rain, and we're less likely to get it than you are, that's for sure. The peep cannon was the other video that I couldn't remember, Carew, and Nikki brought it up. And yes, that was the peep cannon video was very cool. I think you would have been better off lying down and shooting up next to it. That would have been really cool. I would have loved to have seen that. So, peep cannon. Nikki, you talked about how you are reading crap. And in depression, you read complete crap. And, you know, I actually, you know, when I'm depressed, I watch crap on YouTube or on video. You know, I just find mindless stuff. I'm not a big reader, to be honest. But, hey, if you're reading crap, Nikki, you could always read Sarah's books, and I can actually arrange to get you copies of those books if you want. But speaking of reading crap, hope Sarah's not watching this. I'm glad to hear that your grandmother's doing a little bit better. I'm sorry your mom's stressed out. I know that when my grandmother and grandfather were going through their stuff, one of the hardest things I've ever seen my mom go through, caring for them and dealing with that. So my sympathies go out. I hope you guys have a great time in Seattle. It sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I've got. I'm sorry that you're so bummed. I hope you're doing better. And I will upload yet a third video this evening. And I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll talk to you sometime soon. Bye-bye.